Darrell, first of all, just wanted to talk about a bit of a positive from Tuesday, having David Worrell back in the team. How much of a difference does he make to the way that you want to play? And how do you have to manage him now that he is back in the side?
Yeah, listen, certainly, Worrell on his game is one of the best wide players in the league for me. The amount of crosses he can get in producing games, his experience, his energy levels. So hopefully certainly helps us in that final third play, and in his defensive duties he's very strong as well. So no, pleased to have him back.
In terms of managing him and the others like Manny and David and Moo, I know you spoke about getting nearer. How careful do you have to be that you don't overexert them to get them back quicker?
Yeah, there's a massive balance to it all, Phil, to be honest with you. But we're in a situation where we might have to take one or two more risks than we normally would, if I'm honest with you. But that's the way it is. We don't want players breaking down, but also we need them out on the pitch, Phil. Our better players out on the pitch. And certainly the experienced boys out there helps, I think, in the situation that we're in. And hopefully we keep them on the pitch as much as we possibly can.
There was something that was actually mentioned in the fans forum last night about perhaps moving the training ground or moving training away from the ground. Just can you give us a bit more depth about what that would involve and how that might change things for you?
Listen, I suppose it's all about improving as much as we possibly can. I don't think the facilities are bad, if I'm honest with you. We've got two pitches, obviously, side of the stadium. I'd say it's not always great training at your actual stadium, if that makes sense, being in the stadium on a consistent basis. I think there's different reasons for that. I think training ground is a player's sanctuary. I think separating the two. I think when you come to your home games, I like from the start of next season, I like my players in a collar and tie and suit and smart. I think it's an occasion when you come home, you've got the fans in. I think if you're coming into the building every single day, if that makes sense. So there's different ways we can actually look for that. Obviously, in a perfect world, we get our own training ground bases, which is like an elite academy, so to speak, which takes time and obviously takes a lot of finances. And we work with what we've got and try and make the best of what we possibly got, because the facilities are decent. So I think it's a case of how can we do that? How can we do, if we are training at the stadium every day, how can we make match day that little bit different? And there's different ways and circumstances we're trying to do that and look at in the future. That won't necessarily be this season, but it certainly will be next season. We're trying to improve as much as we possibly can of the place and change things around one or two, but also having that class facilities which enables you to, a manager to be able to coach and get the facilities spot on.
From what you've just said there as well, it's about professionalism as well, isn't it? Like you said, the players turning up in the right way and treating match day as if it's a privilege to be there and play for the football club. Is that something you're very keen on?
Yeah, very keen on that. Very keen on that, to be honest with you. I think that professionalism is something I pride myself on and the teams on and the teams that I've built. Fun with a purpose to win, if that makes sense. That's what it's about for me. We want to work hard, we want to enjoy hard, we want to get a winning culture at this place. We want to enjoy that as well while we do that. And it's important that we get the balance of it absolutely spot on, but working in a massively professional development. That's the game now. The games are won on fine lines of football. So if we can narrow down all those fine lines on professionalism, looking after themselves, certainly making sure that that's all spot on in the background, which me and David are working very hard to make sure that that's spot on moving forward in the future.
I know you didn't see the reverse fixture against Bolton earlier on in the season, but should supporters expect something very different from both teams? Because that was in essence a freak game in some ways, wasn't it?
It was, Phil, but if we look at it now, Bolton's totally changed the system. There was a back three then. They're now 4-2-3-1 and had a massive amount of success at that. They're moving massively in the right direction. They're on a great run of form. So we're under no illusions this is going to be a tough test. But like I said, every game's different. The game will be different from what Tuesday night's game were. And we'll be looking to put on a performance that gets us the 3 points.
That'll do for me. Thank you, Darrell.
Cheers, Bill. Top man.
Morning, Darrell.
Go on, you go, Mike.
Okay, thanks, George.
Morning, Mike.
Morning, Darrell. Darrell, I was just wondering, you mentioned at the forum last night that Monty's injury might not be as bad as first thought. Can you give us an update on that? And also with Gibbo, how serious is that one? Have you got an idea?
Monty's back on the grass, Mike. There was nothing muscular about it, the injury. So there is a problem in there, but it's not as serious as we first thought, if that makes sense. And Monty's, we're building him up again. It's been an ongoing issue with Monty. But what we don't want, because it makes everybody look like an idiot, if I'm honest with you, is in, players coming back then coming off after 20, 30 minutes. Players after, I don't know what's in a player's mindset or in the bodies because I can't put myself in there. But we do all the rigorous tests to make sure that if he does pass a fitness test, then he should be fit. That's what happened last time, and he broke down last time. So we've been a little bit more cautious with him, but he shouldn't be a million miles away, Mike. Great.
And what about Gibbo? How serious is that?
Yeah, Gibbo's is more serious. Looking to a 4 to 6 week for Gibbo. I think it was a grade 2 hamstring tear. So that's black and white, to be honest with you. So we'll be working hard on his rehab, and we'll be trying to get him back as quickly as possible. Don't really like putting too many time scales on it, but that's the normal sort of normal time really for an hamstring tear.
Yeah. You mentioned last night that you've arranged a reserve game against Hereford. Just tell me why you want to do that and why you feel more reserve games are important.
It's been difficult this year with COVID, but if you're carrying a squad of 30, that we haven't had more games. More reserve games, more development games, and for me, it's the right way of going about it. Where the second year scholars mix in with the first year, with the pros, and like I said, why so many injuries? We're doing a massive investigation of why that has been the case, and I think it's quite a lot of things going into the bubble of that, and I think one of them is making sure that players get games when they're coming back from fitness. And I think it's an ideal opportunity to also look at the second year scholars mixed in with some of the pros that need 90 minutes of football in a behind the closed doors game.
Yeah, it's getting some of those youth team plays through maybe one way so you don't have to have such a big squad of pros.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Mike, is that you want to do the right things for our young boys. You want to putting second year scholars and youth team players in with first team players gives you sometimes the performances produce better performances because they're playing with better players, they're playing with pros. So, and you like to give them sort of lads a fair crack as well. So it's a good game for us, and it's a good game to get some 90 minutes into boys that have probably haven't had 90 minutes for a while.
Darrell, that's great for me. Thanks very much.
Cheers, Mike.
Darrell, obviously, when you were in midweek, must have been pleased with the game there because you alluded to before, you didn't get enough shots off. Certainly in the midweek game, you got an awful lot of shots off and lots of set pieces. But unfortunately, from time to time, they're off target or there were some good blocks. But you must have been pleased with that reaction.
Yeah, pleased. Pleased is probably... It's a tough one, please. The 0-0 draw without Oldham, without being disrespectful. I'm not going to be that pleased with a 0-0 at home. If I'm honest with you, I thought we should have won the game. I thought we should have won the game comfortably. That final third playing in the box, it's got to improve. To be honest with you, so I was really pleased with the build-up play to get the ball into those areas, but thoroughly disappointed in when we did get in them areas that we didn't capitalise. And also maybe a bit of rub of the green as well. Tom Conlon's shot goes in the inside of the post and not across the goal mouth. And we've hit a few sweet strikes that have gone down the goalkeeper's neck as well. So sometimes you need that little bit of a rub of the green. But pleased with the build-up play, not pleased with the end product.
Certainly with the width you got from not only from the fullbacks but from the wingers, Devante, of course, and David Waddle. That has again give you another outlet, isn't it? Really, and the players were getting further up the front when the delivery was coming in. That's another aspect.
We've got Bolton now. It's a new game, isn't it? Oldham played a back five, a 5-3-1-1 system, which enables your fullbacks to be able to carry the ball a long way up the pitch, which Millsy and Crooksy did. In that Pacific game, we enabled us to get some overloads in wide areas, but we've been playing against a 4-2-3-1 system against Bolton, which is a totally different game. They're very much a possession-based team. They moved around the ball very well. They've got some big-name players, so the game's going to be totally different. we try and build on obviously Tuesday night's performance, but I can't see it being a similar game if I'm honest.
They do play through, don't they? And Anthony Sarcevic has a very big part to play in that game, doesn't he?
Yeah, and they've got Doyley obviously leading he's a 20-man goal scorer. They've got plenty of experience in the team as well. So it's going to be a tough test, but we're looking forward to it. We'll have a game plan like we do in every game. We'll have a plan to try and pick the 3 points up.